Hey everybody,
Hey.
it's another day. It's another powerful day here on Not Safe for Wonks. And the whole crew is here. Brandon Buchanan is here.
Kennedy Cooper is here.
Leah Rose, also here.
This feels like the beginning of a Jay-Z song. You just know it's going to be a good time. Listen, Kamala Harris.
Another number one.
Another number one. Another Correct. Kamala Harris has just hit the road as of today. By the time that this episode drops, we'll have all had a couple of days to let it breathe. In fact, maybe one or two people will drop out between now and Thursday. I don't know.
But right now, as we're recording this, we're still riding the high of Harris dropping out. It's wonderful. It's great. I've been browsing the K-Hive Twitter hashtag all day, and it's fantastic. Like they're going to the weirdest candidates.
Yeah, I have some takes on the Harris candidacy and the collapse and all that other shit, but I think that we should just do our job as analysts first, and we should just talk about like where is the K-Hive going now? Because the queen bee has fallen, so the hive has to scatter. They gotta go somewhere. Yeah. You know, they can go anywhere they want, but they can't stay there.
Yeah, things are always in flux, and candidates that we might not even know about could be like the K Hive, like put them there.
Yeah,
you know?
I think Deval Patrick is actually well positioned to be that person. I know y'all are gonna laugh, but like Patrick is a little bit to the right of Kamala. But they've got that Obama connection, and I just think that Deval Patrick now has an opening for that Hillary stand demographic.
Yeah.
Find somebody.
He's got like a ticket to a ticket out of Iowa.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
So, Kennedy, do you have any people that you think the K-Hive might go to?
Yeah, you know, I think this will be a controversial take, maybe a little bit, but I think the K-Hive is going to go to Kim Ruff, the Libertarian candidate for president. I think
I could see that. I could see that kind of woman power.
Yeah, it's obvious that they're looking for a woman with strange views on criminal justice, and that's Kim Ruff.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, could they not like go to Tulsi? I guess that's not allowed because Tulsi dunked her like through the wood floor, so Tulsi's a no-go. Yeah, I guess they've got to go out there.
You know, I'm having an out of left field take for this one. And I know every 4 years I've been calling his return, but I really believe at this time Walter Mondale. I really think Walter Mondale is gonna sweep the board this time. It's his turn. It's his time.
Is he still alive?
He's 94. He's like 94, 92.
So he is.
You know, he's been fermenting his rage ever since Reagan fucking butt fucked him in 84.
I just don't see a lot of crossover.
He's ready.
I don't see a lot of crossover between K-Hive, who are mostly like upper middle class white women that like to use black women emojis, and Mondale.
It's a dark horse candidacy for sure, but I think this sort of I think there's an eldritch power that Mondale has that Harris was trying to pull from. Like, I mean, if you go to the Wikipedia page for Walter Mondale right now, go to the Wikipedia page and look at that man's face. Just take a long, nice look into that fucking vacant expression.
I'm looking at something right here.
I'm looking at a dead body.
Yeah, Walter Mondale's not alive. Everyone's lying about this one.
Listen,
here's a new conspiracy for you loyal fans of the cast. Walter Mondale is not alive.
Birds are not real, and neither is Walter Mondale.
Walter Mondale is a robot that's been constructed to be in politics.
So, Marianne Williamson, if you're listening to this episode, I would suggest, you know, figure out who you want to lock up and start tweeting about it. Pick up some votes, girl. Like, it's time. Everybody's got to make a move. I'm
legitimately surprised that Harris dropped out before Williamson.
I'm surprised that Harris dropped out before a lot of people. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah,
this has been quite the journey where on her announcement, the consensus was basically, and even a little, not just like right on it, but a little bit after, you know, as other people were announcing, the consensus was basically, she's the strong contender. Everybody else who's announcing, we'll see. She's the strong one. Even above people like Bernie.
Yeah.
There were people who were calling like the power rankings as like 1 Harris, 2 Beto, 3 Biden, 4 Booker.
Okay, ignore those people. Those people are chuckleheads. But like when this primary started, I definitely thought that Harris would be like in the fucking top 3 for this entire time.
It wasn't, honestly, it was not hard for me at any time to imagine a Harris presidency until recently.
Pete scooped up basically all of that slush money, that donor money from the really rich people. And I think Warren got the, the upper middle class lady enthusiasm that was kind of drifting back and forth between them. Obviously, Warren and Harris were not going to survive together. That was never in the play. So one of them. And I just kind of thought that Kamala was more charismatic and more personable. She was before she decided to run for president. And when you decide to run for president, those robots get into your brain and you just become so just boring and flat and dull and kind of repellent to normal people. And like 2 years from now, Kamala will be doing an interview and she'll be like a normal person. And y'all be like, oh, wow, she seems kind of cool. I'll be like, I mean, look, I'm fucking trying to tell y'all. It's the running.
Before she ran. The early stages of her presidency, like her announcement video and a lot of her early campaign speeches and things like that, not only were they well attended, but these were some pretty good speeches. And
when she did that shit in Oakland, big rallies, there was interest.
Yeah, and
like 22,000 at her announcement.
Go back and watch her announcement video. It's fucking good.
Yeah. I mean, she definitely had some strut. She thought she was going to win.
Yeah. And also in that moment, she was really speaking to a lot of things. And then, over time, she kind of waffled on a lot of issues. And that really hurt her more than I think she expected. I think she thought that she could take the donor money, tone down all her messages, and just kind of move on. But she wasn't playing the game correctly or something.
Like... can we yesterday? When were you guys thinking that she would drop out? Because it's a foregone conclusion that she wasn't going to get the nomination. But
she made a lot of noise about staying in through South Carolina. I definitely thought that after Iowa, she was going to come in 5th and look around and have no money and drop out.
Yeah, I thought she'd stay in till at least the early primaries, to be honest. Especially because she wasn't actually polling completely dismally. It's just bad compared to where she was.
I feel like Harris, she could have gone one of 2 ways. She could have got 5th or 6th in Iowa, and just noped out there. Or she could have tried to pour all of her resources into doing an end run favorite son route in California and then try to play kingmaker at a brokered. But I don't think that Harris has the game playing skills to pull that off.
I mean, clearly she doesn't see a path to victory now because she's dropping out.
Well, but I was thinking either Iowa or Super Tuesday.
Yeah, I really thought she'd hang
now she must have just been hemorrhaging money, or her staff was threatening to revolt.
Well, from reports, it's been maybe a little of both. There have been some reports coming out over the last few days, even before she dropped out, that there may have been some various abuses of staff. Definitely stuff just like overwork, not getting paid for hours they worked, all the usual kind of shit.
Can I get in my hot take right now?
Yeah.
It's bullshit. I don't believe that at all.
Okay.
I think all of that shit was lined up and fucking timed to line up with Bloomberg running for president. Suddenly this guy runs for president and suddenly there's a dozen hit pieces on Harris at the same time. Maybe it's a coincidence. But I see at least a couple of Harris's consultants making these weird long editorials that fucking turbo dunked on her and then went to work for Bloomberg. Maybe I'm being conspiratorial, but
no, I mean, you got to follow the money.
Yeah, the stuff about Harris the last 2 weeks that suddenly the media was just shoving her out with both hands. I've never seen anything like that except for Sanders. Just in terms of getting nothing but negative coverage about their campaign. I think that shit was very coordinated. I think we saw some Game of Thrones shit the last couple of weeks in Politico, New York Times, etc.
Possibly. But on the subject of hemorrhaging money, that definitely can't be denied.
Well, the
reports were that she was spending about $1.40 for every dollar raised. And given how long she'd been in the race, I mean, you can do that for a little while maybe. But she's been running forever now.
Yeah, she definitely was spending top tier candidate money, which I mean, we're gonna make some jokes about how Marianne Williamson is still in the race. Listen, guys, I don't know how close you are to like watching the Marianne Williamson operation. They are not operating on a high budget. Let me tell you, they're not spending a whole lot. So I when she says she plans to stay in for a while, I believe it because it genuinely should take her a lot of money.
Right, and even someone like Bennett, who I kind of keep saying, I thought he would drop out next before Kamala, honestly. I didn't expect this at all. He's not actually spending a lot. And, since his campaign is structured like that, where he's not spending that much money, then it's just something that he can kind of use to get a little bit of extra clout or whatever. And maybe he'll just hang on it for a while.
I think Bennett had more clout before he ran for president. I genuinely think, because like once in a while you have a conversation to be like, hey, there's that guy in Montana. Now it's like,
it's that's Colorado.
Oh yeah, you're right. I was thinking Bullet.
See?
It's terrible. It's terrible.
They all feed into each other.
A podcast. We professionally, we don't get paid enough, but we do a podcast about current events. And I just clearly mixed up Michael Bennett and our guy. What's his name? Yeah, I know he's Bullock. I keep
like what is it with these weird centrists? And
they live in DC, and the media like convinces them that they like have fucking answers.
What is
like,
it with
they have a crowd of people that pump them up when they go to dinner bar and convince them, oh yeah, they could be president. They won in a red state.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that whole one in a red state thing. We'll probably get into that some more.
Yeah,
I do just want to say that it is, as much as I did not like Kamala Harris all that much, it is a real shame that she's out and there's this whole sea of white guys that just suck that are still in. And a lot of them just suck way worse.
She was slated to be on the debate stage in December. And there's like 10 days left.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, like, it probably would be pretty dire if she, because if things were in a slightly better position, she could have, really cut down on austerity and made just a total end run trying to pull out all the stops at the December debate. But yeah, because she didn't do that is probably evidence of she didn't think she could pull it off, or things were getting really dire in the campaign.
Yeah.
Kamala, I would say with a gun to my head was kind of my third choice. Just because like there's Bernie, there's Marianne, and then there's like a large gap between everybody else. And I think, at least me personally, I have extreme doubts about Elizabeth Warren's electability, like going against Trump day to day. I just think that she would just get dunked on like every fucking day, twice a day. And that by the time,
it's been said before, Trump is just going to come out in some Plains native war dress and make stupid chants for the entire duration of the debate. And Warren isn't going to be able to respond.
Yeah,
this
I just think sir. I don't want one of these. This is not who we are.
This is not normal.
This is not normal. And then they just fucking get obliterated. And I definitely felt that would have been Elizabeth Warren. It just would have been Hillary all over again. Which is,
Elizabeth Warren is folding in the primary to like meager attacks because she's just not being supported by the media anymore.
This has literally been her problem the whole time. This has literally been her problem the whole time. She started off with an okay launch, and then she got attacked in the media, and she couldn't handle it, and she floundered for a while, and then she slowly drug her campaign back out of the mud.
I don't know.
Now
I think this is the first month of Elizabeth Warren's entire political career that she's actually gotten any negative coverage at all. I just think even against Scott Brown, the media they just love her. When she was polling like at 5th place, all the stories were, why isn't Elizabeth Warren ranked higher? She's got plans.
There was plenty of that, but there were definitely also people like, even on more sort of, not on the right news sources, bringing up, oh, look, we found another document where Elizabeth Warren claimed to be like Native American, especially early on. That stuff's died down now.
Can we compare the intensity of the Elizabeth Warren fake Native American stuff to anything Barack Obama did when he ran for president?
Oh gosh, no. And I mean, even like, let's just jump on Bernie for a second. Like, Bernie would get more trouble for waggling his finger than Elizabeth Warren did for pretending to be Native American for like 4 decades or whatever.
Like, Bernie's got nothing on him. Peter Downs talked about this, like he was a Clinton Apartheid geek. He saw the Bernie Oppo file. There's nothing in it.
Yeah, and it's just crazy because I mean, Elizabeth Warren, I would say the heat that she's gotten for the Indian stuff just doesn't measure up to the stuff that Bernie got for not having yet released his tax returns. People might disagree with me on that, but I think there was way more anger at him for where are your tax returns? I guess that was a corner of the internet and not really the whole Democratic Party. But where are those people now that were just howling for Bernie Sanders tax returns? Did they ever say, "Oh, I was wrong"? It's just impossible to.
They changed to like he had a heart attack, whatever.
Yeah, but yeah, and so given that, I don't really see Warren's ability to take a punch, and I also don't see Pete's ability to take a punch. Although, if you're from a certain culture, I understand why you like Pete. We relentlessly dunk on him, but like, I understand the appeal for certain people in a certain social strata, what have you. I get it, but I don't think that would last over a summer of being dunked on by Trump. The mainstream Democrats, I think Kamala Harris was maybe the only one that would be fine through a summer of getting dunked on by Trump. And so I thought, well, my ideology...
It's really funny because the lines of attack on Kamala were mainly from the left, and they're ones that Trump wouldn't touch. Like, Trump would never say cop Mahler, shit like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And we've seen the headlines about this, like, Kamala's campaign invested heavily in trying to counter like the left Twitter narratives about her.
Yeah.
And that's part of why it sunk. Like, we posted her out of the presidency.
Yeah, we got to talk about that. In fact, let's just fucking slide into Kamala versus Twitter. Her sister apparently is a left Twitter person. I don't know how much she tweets, but she's like in our world. And she tried to drag her away from the whole cop thing as her rationale for entering in her stump speech, etc. But the rest of her team that were the former Hillary staffers or whatever were like, that being a prosecutor is literally her resume. That's literally all she's got. What else is she going to talk about if she's not talking about her experience as being a prosecutor?
Literally fucking, I'm California's top cop.
A terrible decision. Way to not read the room at all. She would have been better off just running on literally nothing. Just the last 2 years of her being a senator. You know who was a senator for 2 years and then decided to run for president and then became president? Barack Obama. And he didn't like go and talk about his time in the fucking state senate. It wasn't important. Nobody cared.
Paula made it a thing.
She made it a thing. I mean, look, it was going to be a thing to an extent anyway, no matter what. Just because like you're running against Sanders and left Twitter is full of Sanders people. And they're just going to dunk on you no matter what. But she definitely magnified it, and she didn't give herself room to like walk back certain things.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to talk waffling and candidate, Pete, for instance, say what you will about him, but he's careful about being a piece of shit. He words things a certain way and stuff like that. Kamala just literally tried to play both sides.
He's suave in a sense, and like there's definitely that I want to punch him, but he can hide it.
I mean, Kamala literally went on the debate stage and said, we need Medicare for all, no private insurance, blah, blah. And the very next day tried to claim she didn't understand the question and shit like that. That's a lot harder for
fucking I thought the question was if I would give up my private insurance.
Yeah, you act like people are dumb. That's one of those things where you're also acting like people are dumb, and you're demoralizing. And when you walk things back to that degree, you're demoralizing your own supporters. Like you're basically that only the K-Hive can support you, because. An average person looks at this like, is this your king? This your king? And they're like, oh no, man, that ain't my king. Man, come on.
And whichever side of the issue you're on, whether you think we need Medicare for all today, which we do, or if you think we need, Medicare for all who want it, either way, you're not gonna be fucking happy with this half-ass bullshit.
Right. There's no constituency for like.
I think that should be the slogan of the Requiem for the Kamala campaign. It pleased nobody.
That might be our fucking episode title. It pleased no one. A Requiem for Kamala Harris.
Yeah, exactly.
Good Lord.
God.
There was like, and again, I say this as someone who Kamala was maybe like in the running for my third choice.
Right. I get it.
Right. just strategic, like, hey, we need somebody to beat Trump, because again, with Bernie and Marianne out, my personal ideology would be out the window.
Here's the real irony. I don't want to cut you off entirely, but this is so ironic and like kind of sickening, because here we are, and we are very left. Okay, we're probably a lot more left than we come off a lot of the time, even, because we're also people who believe in trying to affect some change today with the tools and systems that you have in front of you, and not just waiting for a imaginary revolution that may or may not happen or something like that, like some people on the left do. But we're very, very left. We are strong supporters of progressive candidates. We relentlessly dunk the centrists. We hate them. But here we are, and we're admitting that when it comes down to it, we're probably more likely to vote blue no matter who than all these fucking moderates that did support Kamala. Because a lot of them have been on Twitter today screaming that they're not voting now.
Okay, wait. That's true. I want to literally come back to the all-white primary and the whole, are they going to vote blue? Like, wait, before we even get to that, because that is important. I also just want to backtrack and say there was no firm rationale for Kamala Harris running for president. There was no strong answer to why Kamala and not someone else. It was like she was just trying to figure out how to be elected on the fly. And people are just fucking tired of that. Like, when people smell that and they go, yeah, this is definitely not my and it just reflected in everything that she did. And yeah, as far as like who's gonna vote blue no matter who, the people saying vote blue no matter who, I don't trust those folks at all. I don't like we have a lot of wave emoji people.
It's a lie. Like, honestly, the underlying assumption with vote blue no matter who is that it's being directed at the left, and it's implicitly assuming that a centrist candidate is gonna win. Like, party's gonna return to rationality, and we're gonna elect a well-meaning centrist, and you Bernie bros are gonna have to return to the party. Like, these people have no intentions of voting for like Bernie Sanders because they don't think he's gonna be the nominee. Like, that's not the underlying thinking. They're weaponizing it against other people. It's not a tactic that they're using themselves.
We have a lot of blue wave emoji people in our mentions, in our follower list or whatever. I'm not saying every single one of them is lying. I'm just saying like maybe like 15% of y'all are on some bullshit. Like,
and furthermore, like this whole rhetoric that like we shouldn't be attacking each other. It's a primary. What are you supposed to do? You're supposed to go on the debate stage and be like, "Oh, we agree with each other. We're all in agreement." So the policy is
after the primary,
you're supposed to debate each other, and you're supposed to attack each other, and one of you is supposed to win.
Yeah, we can all fucking sit down after the primary. We can, hum and haw about how much it sucks that Joe Biden is the nominee, and then we can say, well, let's vote blue no matter who for harm reduction or whatever, and at least like you're not being a complete piece of shit as much as when you do it during the primary. And it's like you say, this is the time. We're supposed to be getting out there and debating ideas, the candidates amongst each other. Every time we set out to elect a new president, we don't just have an opportunity to put the party back in power. We have an opportunity to form a better party for today.
This is the one time per decade that you are going to be able to fucking get your own ideas out there without being fucking cyberbullied by these fucking drones. Because y'all know how it's going to go. Like, if Warren wins this nomination, then all we're going to hear online is vote blue no matter who. Do you want Trump? We need you to support Elizabeth Warren. And y'all think I'm doing jokes. Listen, Daily Kos literally banned people that were being critical of Hillary. Like, when it seemed like she, like, after Super Tuesday or whatever, and like everybody with sense knew she was going to win. They were like, well, we've got to rally behind Hillary Clinton. She's the nominee. Mm-hmm. And so these topics we don't want to talk about anymore. And they just started fucking banning people. And that tone is going to carry to whoever the person is, unless it's Sanders. It's going to be, let's all hidey-ho get behind this person. Or do you want Trump? And then once they get elected, it's going to be like, this is a new president. Give them a chance. When it's the first 100 days, they're going to say, this is the first 100 days. Leave them alone. Then there's going to be
when do we get to criticize them?
Yeah.
When?
Yeah.
It's going to be like a 2-month period after the first 100 days where they'll let you complain. Then it's going to be like, oh, the midterms are coming. oh, okay. Then it's going to be, oh, do you want Tom Cotton to win? You've got to support the president. Like, they're just going to bangarang you for the next 8 years. And like, we ain't got 8 years because the fucking climate shit has happened. So if you want to have a voice in the way that this shit goes without the strategic pile-on, then now's the fucking time to get it out there and actually advocate for what and who you want. And yeah, the people saying vote blue no matter who, they're saying that because they think one of their candidates is gonna win. I've never heard anyone who's blue no matter who like, oh yeah, I'll vote for Tulsi Gabbard. I don't care. They're better. She's better than Trump. It's literally just like, well, vote blue no matter who, even if it's Warren or Buttigieg or Biden. Like, it's not sincere at all.
Yeah, absolutely. And we could see that on Twitter today because there were these people who were, diehard Kamala stans who are now saying, if it's Bernie in the primary, I'm not voting for him because he's a Russian asset and blah, blah, or things like that. And it's like, we're just going to see more and more of that, people saying he's not a real Democrat, all these things so that they can justify exactly the shit they've been telling us that we absolutely cannot do. And look, and first of all, let me just say this too.
Go wild.
It's y'all's choice to vote. You are not under an obligation to do it, okay? I think you should. Don't get me wrong. But if you're out there, you don't vote in 2020, fucking choice. All this, you gotta vote. Vote blue no matter who. If you're disgusted with the 2020 election, you can't bring yourself to vote. That's your fucking choice.
Yeah, like, honestly, and this is just me, like, I'm not fucking. I'll fill out the rest of that goddamn ticket, but I'm not voting.
Remember that Pete supports legal weed. Pete has unwaveringly supported legal weed. Even if you don't get anything else, you can fucking take the Buttigieg take the edge off.
Buttigieg take the edge off. Brandon, I'm reaching through my computer screen. I'm gonna strangle you.
If Pete Buttigieg doesn't win the presidency, he needs to open a dispensary.
Oh God.
Pete Buttigieg take the edge off.
There's a dispensary called Boot Edge, like BOO.
Hey, warning! Please, if you're watching this, please don't show this to anyone who likes Pete Buttigieg in any respect, because I don't want anyone fucking using that. We gotta quarantine. Nobody will use that. We're quarantining this episode.
We actually do have at least a couple Buttigieg fans. They must love being fucking abused because our Twitter feed is just, we're basically like the fucking donut Twitter of Buttigieg dunks at this point. But
Buttigieg and Biden just get savaged on our Twitter all day long because obviously
if Pete wins, well, first of all, it's not mathematically possible for Buttigieg to win. Like, it's literally just not a possibility. Again, he's at 0% with black voters. It's not possible.
The funny thing about
it also came out he's at like 1% with Latino voters, so
yeah, it's not possible.
Like Walter Mondale, at least he won Minnesota. He won it by like 1%, but at least he won Minnesota. But that was like his home state. Like Pete Buttigieg probably isn't going to win Indiana.
No, he would not win Indiana.
We could see George Washington levels of landslide here. I think
he would win. I think he would win California and Washington and Oregon and a lot of New England.
He would win the barest of the blue wall. The barest.
Yeah. I think we would be looking at like a John Kerry type map with Mayor Pete.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, like honestly, kind of to finish my thoughts on this, blue no matter who isn't a stance. It's a rhetorical weapon being used against the left with the assumption that a centrist is going to win and that they can say, oh, I've been saying this since the primary. So you should just do it, or else I'm gonna blame you. Like, it's a weapon. If it's not a stance.
By the way, if Sanders gets this nomination, for like 1 week, there will be a very heartwarming show. Like Neera Tanden will make a pro Sanders blog post. I shit you not. And everybody's gonna like make a big show of getting behind Bernie for like a week or two. Forget that. Throw that out. Like, enjoy it while it happens because you'll feel warm and crispy. You'll feel those we're gonna win feelings. It'll be fine. But like, it's really gonna sink in like 3 weeks after he gets nominated and the media like flips their shit and Bernie starts getting that Jeremy Corbyn type coverage of just wall to wall. This guy cannot be allowed to be president type shit.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like,
it's going to hell.
It'll be bizarre attacks.
It's gonna be cloaked in this concern trolling, like, oh, I'm just helping him. I'm just helping him be better and be more electable and be like there's this stupid Ross had article that was called "The Case for Bernie Sanders," and I shit you not, one of the paragraphs read, "Even though Bernie has not taken my advice," and then he links to an article he wrote like 2 months ago about how Bernie should say the N-word 5 times a day in like public broadcasts or something in order to improve his electability. Even though Bernie hasn't taken my advice, like it's just gonna be that. It's just gonna be stupid concern troll.
Yeah, I think this is so hard for me to say. Bernie is gonna have it worse than Obama.
Oh, so much worse.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is crazy to think about because Obama had it so bad.
Obama got like just savaged a lot, but he also had a lot of pro-Obama media. Like the media, and there also wasn't a lot to attack him on. And he was just young and good looking, and people were just like, we want this TV character to be the president. He's great. Yeah. Bernie is not going to get that at all. It's going to be just wall to wall. It's going to be fucking insane.
Here's the thing that I think Bernie has to his advantage, though. Bernie has the media sources that he has completely in his pocket. And by that, I mean us. I mean left media. I mean alternative media. And let's face it, alternative media is not that alternative anymore.
Right.
It used to be like, one person watched the Young Turks and it was me. Now, the Young Turks is like...
Right.
They'll probably be moderating presidential debates in like 2024, 2028. I'm not even kidding, I
mean, they've even got us moderating debates. I mean, it's really...
Yeah,
that's right. This episode comes out Thursday. Let's go ahead and plug this real quick.
Actually,
in 2 days.
Yeah. Let's plug it.
2 days. We'll mention this at the end as well. But in 2 days, we will be moderating a Green Party presidential debate online at twitch.tv/notsafemedia. You can find more details on our Twitter leading up to it. We're gonna keep posting about it. But yeah,
and
we're gonna be real media figures now.
We've done interviews with a lot of the Green Party candidates. We've done Howie, we've done Pseudonym Curry, we've done Ian, we've done a lot of them. So you really have no excuse to not be fully up to date on who they are and what they're about, and have fun like hanging out with us for a couple of hours and listening to them talk about a lot of things. We don't want to give our moderation away yet.
Right.
A lot of things that will be important to the folks listening and to like the country as a whole. It'll be rad.
Anyway, that's the shameless plug, but my point stands.
Anyway,
Young Turks will be moderating Democratic presidential debates in like 2028 probably.
And I think Bernie will also have, should he be the nominee, which is not guaranteed, he'll have a certain pull with people who are skeptical of the media in general. Donald Trump is going to have basically nowhere to hide on the real talk front. It will just literally be Flax in the media doing everything for him. We could be wrong. There could also be like personal grudges that people in the media have about Trump because Trump has just shat on them for years. So maybe they're just their human egos will come up on just a human level and just be like, we can't let this guy bangerang us for 4 more years.
Yeah.
Possible. I don't find it likely, but it's possible. So we could just be totally wrong. This could be totally different than how we're imagining.
I will say that Trump is going to have a hard time attacking Bernie, not just because, like we said, he's somewhat spotless, but also because you just said, like, people who are skeptical of the media are down with Bernie. And so a lot of the things that Trump uses, not just to attack specific opponents, but more broadly to attack like the Democratic establishment as a whole, won't work on Bernie.
Trump is going to do a lot of just making shit up and just seeing how it sticks.
My guess is he's probably going to get racist, just like openly, just anti-Semitic.
Well, if our Sanders Tlaib ticket goes off like we think it will, then I think we will get a little racist. But no, I am thinking that Trump will just go from town to town and be like, this guy Bernie, he wants to ban electricity. like
crazy Bernie, it's his best year so far.
He'll be like, you guys have got lights on, right? You guys like having like lights, and you
this guy wants to ban cows.
Bernie's gonna make you turn your TV off, and it's just gonna be fucking over.
Have you seen the pictures of Vuvuzela? That's what Bernard is going to turn our big beautiful country into.
Yeah, and like he'll just make things up, and a certain number of people will believe it, and the media will, I believe, try their hardest to get people behind it. I just don't see it. I don't know how it'll go. I have no idea, but that's like my vision for what that summer will be like.
Yeah.
Oh god, like it's gonna be insane. The campaign season, it's gonna be great, and we're gonna be in clout, and we're gonna be fucking rolling in it.
Hey,
it's gonna be fantastic.
Hey, wait! Before we start talking about, are we gonna wrap up? Let's talk about primaries so white.
Yes,
because everybody left on this debate stage is white now.
Well, technically, Booker hasn't officially dropped out yet.
Right. Nobody's out yet. The cutoff has not happened yet.
Yes.
That's what if it were to cut off now, it would be all white. And a lot of people are on Twitter
10
like
days, and Booker has to clear one more poll.
Yeah.
Of national poll of 5 or more. I think
Booker needs a poll.
Same for Yang. Same for Tulsi.
Yeah. They just need to slide in there if they, whatever. And so people are on Twitter like, donate to Julian Castro and help him get in there. I've said this early. I cannot support Julian Castro because I don't like his face. I don't like his voice. I will not be one of those people that tries to dress that up as a ideological thing. Like somebody will decide they don't like you and then come up with a reason. I am rational enough to know it's not a good reason, like a real reason. I just don't like looking at him, and he makes me nervous. I don't like. But a lot of people are saying donate to him so he can get on the stage, or donate to Booker so he can get on the stage. I just don't. I don't know. Look, are black people still allowed to vote? Are the Democrats do they have like hoses outside of the voting stations? Are the pollsters not asking black people what they think about things? Is black people when they make donations, is it being returned to them?
Look, we know with a lot of these polls that there's a incredible amount of manufactured consent going on. Just the fact that a lot of polls are held at like prestigious colleges filled with like waspy white people should fucking tell you something.
This is a little bit like the Oscars So White problem in that the actual stage for the problem has been set long before y'all started to protest. It starts at like, who is the Democratic Party funding? Who are groups like Emily's List getting behind? And there are lots of other women's political organizations that do that kind of thing. Like, it's support on that low level that really decides who even gets to the stage where they can be familiar people to do fundraising and even be a contender for president. And it can't just be willed up by the desire for diversity. Look, there's the black voters are a large chunk of the Democratic Party. Half of them are voting for Bernie Sanders. It's not his fault that no black people decided to run on his platform. It's not his fault that Kamala scurried away from Medicare like a cockroach caught in a light bulb situation in the middle of the night. It's not his fault that Booker has not connected with people. It's not his fault. The other person is like half the black folks that are like the boomer black folk are voting for Biden. And look, it's not his fault that Kamala did not reach those people when she decided to like swing the baseball bat at Joe Biden's knees. It's not his fault that Andrew Yang does not connect with black boomers. It's not his fault that Tulsi Gabbard did not get that group.
Yeah.
Or like who are we actually blaming for it being a white primary field? If black people do we have agency as black folks in the Democratic Party? Yes. It's so funny that the Republicans have criticized black folks when they supported Obama. Like black folks were fucking orcs, like we were a fucking hive that were like, well, we see a black face and we vote for it. Boy, why do black people not have the political education to truly look at candidates and examine them? Well, it's been 8 years and the two top candidates with black voters are white people. Turns out that, yeah, black people are fucking capable of understanding their own interests, whether those interests are right or wrong, or you don't agree with what they are, or da-da-da-da-da. Black folks have fucking agency in the Democratic Party. They just fucking do, period. And if you don't like the results, why aren't there more white people supporting Kamala Harris? I don't know. I see most of y'all were supporting Liz Warren and Pete Buttigieg. So
honestly, like the problem isn't that like Democratic Party voters are racist. I mean, a good fraction of them are.
Right.
The problem is that you put up. The problem is not that. The problem is that the candidates of color were shit candidates. Like honestly,
I don't even think it was that the candidates of color were bad candidates, although they kind of were. It was just the people who were in position to even run for president we're fucking all white people, and that starts way before the election starts. That's
right.
It's institutional, and people don't recognize that. Yeah. We can talk for hours.
And I know we've had already a whole episode about Katie Hill, but I just have to bring her up right now because, let's be real, the more sort of underprivileged you are in our society, the more likely you have something career-ending in your closet that makes it so you can't even consider stuff like this.
Hey!
Yeah.
So, like, you know, a lot of people out there that might like to be the next maybe black president or Latinx president or woman president are right now thinking, damn, I'm gonna get Katie Hill.
Oh, hey, look, there are future leaders right now that are camming right now. And they're like, man, shit, I guess I can't run for president.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, people do you know that have the resources to go to the fucking elite private school and then go to the CIA and then go to the army and then be a mayor of some fucking city, whatever, small town, and then be DNC leader, or at least run for it, and then be president, or, you know, just that entire whole, I feel like we're going back to episode 1 when we talked about grift and how the fucking resume pipeline is a grift. Here we see who's got the grift and where it comes and where it benefits, is just people who have the right resume to run for president. The Harvard to military to minor political office, or law school to minor political office pipeline ain't for everybody.
Yeah, and we're only just starting to see a push against this sort of, you know, wonkish electability obsession where everyone has to have gone to an Ivy League college and, you know, everyone has to have started in smaller government positions and blah, blah.
I want to frame and put up on my wall that Nate Silver tweet that goes along the lines of the fact that Klobuchar isn't polling as well as she should be says something about the disconnect between what pundits think electability is and what the voters think electability is.
That's going to be the cover electability
of this electability is literally like people wanting to vote for you, you being capable of being elected. Like what the fuck is happening where like the privileged voter, the privileged analyst class knows what voters think better than voters.
Well, the privileged analyst class always, you know, they lean on stuff like the flyover states and these sort of like mythical concepts that they are representing voices that you don't hear anywhere else. Like that Twitter isn't, you hear this all the time from people like, you know, like people in the Joe Biden camp. Twitter isn't reality. And, you know, there's a lot of people out there that aren't looking for what you're looking for, blah, blah, whatever. And the pundit kind of like claim to represent those people. The problem is those people don't exist, or at least they don't exist in the numbers that would make them significant enough to give a fuck the way that we do in the media.
The entire polling industry is just like a headache.
Let me say this. All y'all people tweeting about hashtag primaries so white, y'all are the same people complaining about people's quote unquote qualifications for being in presidential office, which is like the ability to navigate a white power structure. Maybe if y'all open y'all minds to scientists, to businessmen, to authors, people who maybe don't have like traditional Harvard military fucking experience, but still actually have the ability to rally their communities, rally their city, build consensus around ideas, and do those kind of things that are actually relevant to what a president does. Hey, you know what you would find? A lot of black people, you would find a lot of brown people, you find Asians, you find women, because those people had to make a lane where that traditional lane that you consider quote unquote qualified for president is closed off to. So maybe when you're complaining about one problem, you are actually causing another. Think about it.
And, you know, let's just be clear, because some people are going to immediately respond to that with, but Donald Trump! The problem with Donald Trump is not that he's a populist, it's that he's a fascist. And to be even a little bit more clear on that, the GOP was a sinking ship before Donald Trump. And Donald Trump had the ability to bring together people who had become disaffected or who had never really had a political home in the first place and bring them under him. If we could have people do that in the Democratic Party, we could have a Democratic Party like we've never seen before. So not wanting a populist candidate because you're afraid of Donald Trump is fucking stupid. We need to do that, but for something positive instead of for fascist shit.
Like populism is a fucking meaningless term. I want you to go to the Wikipedia page for populist, and there's probably like a list there of politicians that have been described as populist, and it's like Jeremy Corbyn, Bolsonaro, Donald Trump, Bernie Sanders, AMLO. It's just this incoherent mess of ideologies that doesn't mean anything. Populism doesn't mean anything, at least to the degree that it's being used now.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely is a buzzword that basically means usually bad leftist or sometimes bad rightist, depending. And yeah, the whole thing's ridiculous.
It's well put. Do we have anything else we want to add here? I feel like we fucking knocked this shit the fuck out.
I feel like we're good.
I just want to say, that I don't think that there's any doubt that people on the left would have loved to have a woman of color on stage with good policy.
Like if Rashida Tlaib was running for president, hell the fuck
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just to wrap this up a little bit, I just want to say that all this, talk about the white primary. Yes, it is a problem. But it's this problem that, like you say, Brandon, a lot of the people that are complaining about it aren't actually doing anything to help it at best. And at worst, they're literally perpetuating it. And if we want to change shit like that, we need to change the entire political narrative. Kamala Harris could have been our champion potentially in a different universe where the dark money didn't just immediately creep in and snatch her brain out of her head and turn her into a strange person that no one could even understand, much less relate to. So we got to change the system. Vote blue no matter who is not going to cut it. We need people that earned our votes in office, not just whoever is moderately to the left of the Conservative Party, because the Conservative Party is anything from completely ridiculous authoritarian to outright fascist at this point. And being just anything to the left of that is not enough. It's not enough anymore, people.
Yeah.
I think you've said it well.
Yeah, that's well put.
Saturday, we're doing a debate. It's going to be great. Green Party debate. Twitch.tv/notsafemedia. You'll be able to see the...
We got a new Twitch page.
Yeah, bruh. Absolutely. You can also donate to our Patreon, but please, God, donate to our Patreon. Patreon.com.
For the love of God, we've been in the red for a few months now. Give us money.
It's fucking terrible. Patreon.com/notsafe. I am Brandon Buchanan. I am at Brandon Buchanan on Twitter.
I'm Kennedy
I am
Cooper.
Leah Rose. Sorry.
Just start that again. We're going to cut that whole part. Go ahead.
Sure.
I'm Kennedy Cooper. I'm at Kennedy T. Cooper on Twitter.
Leah Rose. At Leia_Rose_.
That's it, man. Thank you for listening. Please tune into that debate one more time. And I hope this was good experience for you. We'll be back. We got big things coming up this month. Big interviews. It's going to be very wild.
Yes, we will see you soon with more fantastic content. And until then, thank you so much for listening.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.